Hi everyone, I am going to show you how to make my apple pie filling and can it today. I forgot to hit record in a few spots, but for the most part I show you how to do all the spices and the seasoning. The part that I missed out on is how to tell when it's thick, you know, the thickness of the apple. Because I cook my apples in with the filling. Some people don't, they cook the filling separate and then add it to the apples. But I like it that because your apples will shrink some, and I feel you get more apples in a jar by pre-cooking it in with your gel than you do raw packing it. And that's why I cook it this way. So this is how I do this, and if you want to know, I have been using the 4-jar lids. My sister Ro from Hillbilly Row D has bought me a whole bunch. And I haven't had any fail rate other than human error. And it was just completely goofy of me, of some of the things that I do, I tell you. I forgot to tighten the lid down on 2 of them. But all the others, they did great. I did not have any fail rate. They're all real good seals. They're tight seals. And in my video, I explain why I keep a ring on it. Just barely. Just barely. It's all loose, you know. But I just barely keep it on there because of the way I have to store it. But if you want to know more about the 4-jar lids, I have 2 people that I watch, and my sister also watches from, you know, she's Hillbilly Row and D. But Nessa's Nook and City Girl Homestead both have discount codes for the 4-jar lids. They're both sisters, and they're great women that cook every day, and they can and do all kinds of stuff. So you can get the lids from their channel if you want to pop over there to see it. But here is my video on apple pie filling. These are good organic apples. They are. These will be good. My neighbor gave me all the apples off this little tree. Filling up my basket. They're good, of course. I'm eating one too. I'm so short. I'm going to have to get my husband out here and help me get the rest of these apples. So, I'm so happy I get to harvest apples this year. Mommy only had 1 tree. And, well, she has many apple trees. But Mama has a lot of apple trees and pear trees. And we got some peach trees. But most of it, the frost got them. So it surprised me that this little apple tree survived. I mean, my pear tree is right there. Didn't get anything. So I'm going to pick these and try to preserve them. I'm going to wash the apples, and I'm washing them in a little bit of vinegar water. I've got about maybe a half cup to a cup of vinegar in here and some lukewarm water. And I'm just letting these apples soak for a few minutes. Then I'll scrub them with the brush and rinse them. See, because I got some bad ones in here. But I'm going to try to cut that out and save the rest of this apple. So, we'll see. Because the rest of it looks good. Some of it don't. See? I'm hoping it's not all the way to the core. In my pot, I have 10 cups of water. Add 1 cup of cornstarch, 4.5 cups of sugar, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 2 teaspoons of canning salt, or sea salt, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of citric acid. Whisk that together. Make sure it's all blended, it's not sticking to the bottom. And then I'm going to let this sit and just stew without any heat or anything on it until I get my apples finished. I put my apples, after slicing them up, coring them and slicing them, I put them in a water solution with citric acid so that they wouldn't get browned as I was cutting them. I was dropping them in this water. I've got my mixture of cornstarch and sugars here, and I'm going to put these apples in that pot. I'm stirring all these in that juice, and then I will heat this up on the stove until it thickens, and then ladle it into my pint jars and my quart jars, whatever I choose to put it in. I'm ladling the apples into pint and half and quart jars, and what I'm doing is I'm just taking, because there's a lot of liquid in here, taking the apples, placing them in the jar. I've got a very little bit. I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. And then just sticking them in the jar until I get the jar full, and then I ladle in the liquid. That's all the apples I have left in my pot. So I'm just going to start ladling in some liquid. And the liquid that I have left over, I will can it also, because it's some good tasting stuff. Got that apple flavor in it. I'm not going to waste it. I do this till I get an inch headspace. Then I wipe my rims off, put my lids and rings on, and do a water bath for 20 minutes. After you debubble it, of course. Got that on there, you debubble. Always make sure you debubble. I don't have as many apples in this one as I did the other, so, but trying to get that apple off there. Wipe your ring off. Make sure it's nice and clean. Put your lip on that has been washed. And it's actually, the lid is slightly warm. I had it in hot water before I pulled these out. Get my ring on there, and then put it in the water bath canner. Like I said, I'm not going to waste this liquid. I'm going to pour it in this quart jar. It will get real thick when I can it, but it would be great with bread or anything that you cook if you want that apple flavor. You know, just dice up an apple, and I'll use this jar here for that. recipe. It's like an apple syrup. Oh, it's gonna be good. I got my jars all in there. Got my lid on. Got it up on high. I'm gonna let this process once it gets to a full rolling boil for 20 minutes because I have quarts in there. Pints is 15, quarts are 20. Out of all those apples that I fixed, I think I had 12 pounds. So it was 2 batches, and I think each one was 6 pounds a batch. But I still got to remove the rings, you know. But I got 7 quarts. 2 of them did not seal. That was my error. I was trying something new. 2 of them did, and 2 of them didn't seal. And that was pressure canning them for 8 minutes. Dummy me didn't have the rings on tight enough. You know, you're supposed to finger tight them. And I think I got them. I didn't do that properly. So that was my fault, my error. And it made it siphon out in the pressure cooker, in the pressure canner. That's how I did these. And even though it was only 8 minutes, I think I like water bath canning better than the pressure canning. I didn't lose any on water bath canning. So I got 7 quarts, 5 pints. I got a quart and a pint of just the syrup. And I will reuse that again when I go to make some apple pie or apple bread or something. I can use this. Or I can put it back on the stove, let it thicken up a little bit more for syrup. So that's all the canning I done. But if you do ever decide to pressure can it, it is 8 minutes in your pressure canner. It's how long you keep your pie filling in it. When I can my food, because the way I have to can it, I leave the rings like this. I leave the rings on it because I don't, in case something happens, they get jostled or something. But see how loose that is? It's like you put it on there, you go down maybe a turn or 2, but that's it. It's loose. That way if the seal is compromised or something, it still pops, you know. At least that's the way the USDA tells you to do it. When you're having to double stack them, it says to put the rings on like this. So I know the video was short, and I didn't video a lot of it. Honestly, I kept forgetting to hit the record button. But, you know, human errors. I've had a lot of them yesterday. A lot of human error. So, God bless you all. And I pray that you have, you know, a wonderful week. And I know I haven't been uploading as much videos, but I promised myself I'd slow down some on some things, and I have been doing that. I've got other things coming up. I do have videos, but I still have to edit them. They're not cooking videos, so. But until next time, God bless you all. I'll see you again.